Hey guys, thank you for visiting us here at yourrealestate101.com. This video is a part 2 to buying your first rental property or just getting started in real estate. If you made it here, then that means that you are ready to move forward in your real estate investment journey. Now, if you have not already subscribed, please do it now. This can help me do more videos and show you more detailed tips and tricks of real estate investing, especially if you don't have much money. Also, don't forget to like, share, comment if you have any questions or you want to share some of your own ideas. Turn on notification and subscribe. Now, also, I just want to mention this video is not going to be in a top 5 manner. This is more of a how-to. This is where we are going to go a little bit deeper into the details of how to do the things that's going to get you where you're going to get to, where you can build your real estate empire. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, let's get into this thing. Now, here is part 2 to how to buy your first rental / real estate property. Now that you have found your first property that you are interested in, make sure if you did not see the first part of this video, the how to buy your first rental house property or house rental, make sure you go back and you check that video out. That way this video will make more sense, or this is going to be the next step. Okay, now let's continue. You already scheduled an appointment, but what should you do now? Be proud of yourself, because many people have not even gotten this far. Some stay stuck just looking online, looking at one picture after the next, where they are safe behind their computer surfing away. Sometimes they're just, looking at other investors brag about their cars while they sit in their garages. I'm not hating, but now we need to get you to that point, how you can get your car in your garage. At this point, we need to know what the criteria is. For the purpose of this video, we're gonna say we're looking for a 2 to 4 unit. Now, I'm gonna give you a little detail why we're gonna choose this. We are also looking for value add, which basically means we want a property we can add something or fix something that will raise the worth of the property. Since this is our first property, we don't want anything too massive. We want to avoid major repairs. So in our process, we will actively pay close attention to avoid these types of repairs in properties. Remember, this is just one game plan. We will review other game plans in other videos. Sometimes people actually actively look for properties with major damages so they can get a certain deal for them. But for us in this game plan, that is not what we're looking for. Well, if you don't know or don't have a criteria, let's talk about this, because this is very important. We need to figure this part out. The crazy thing I'm going to give you, it's a great tip, and it's a crazy tip, because the way to figure out your criteria has actually nothing to do with business, at least to some people. I want you to visualize your life 5 years from now and say to yourself, how would you want your life to look like? Do you see yourself, visiting properties yourself weekly, daily, more or less? Or maybe you don't want to visit your properties at all or have anything to do with them. Here, a 2 to 4 unit are easy to manage yourself, but at the same time, you can still have someone else manage that property for you. From my experience, the best property managers are in the more expensive areas, or A and B class areas. Not so great are property managers lacking in resources, often manage in C, but more towards D class areas. This is not to say they are bad people, or at least not always, but managing itself could be more intense in these areas. Also, many property owners in these areas tends to be less willing to spend extra on properties that they own. These factors can cause property managers to either stop caring or find extra other ways to make money, if you get what I mean. In these areas, I recommend managing yourself. Another game plan is if you build a large portfolio in one area, you may be able to entice a better property manager to manage your portfolio. Now, for our sake in this example, we will say we want to learn more about property management by managing it ourselves. at least for the first, let's say, 5 years. And then after that, we will look and see, analyze our experience and see if it's something that we want to do and continue with this game plan. So here we go. So in 5 years, we see ourselves either managing ourselves or being ready to hand over the management to someone else. We will prefer for that time for our real estate to be our main source of income with plenty of family time. Maybe we go on vacation once or twice a year. Now that we have an idea what we want our lifestyle to look like, you work backwards to what you got to do to get there. And the best part about real estate, it will give you plenty of time to adjust, to reanalyze, and see how you feel, and maybe even change your mind without too much consequences. It is very important you take this part very serious. Take your time with that step and be honest with yourself. Partly because different parts of real estate will require different sacrifices, especially if your life is already not aligned with that type of real estate that you want to do or you want to be in. A quick example, let's say you have 2 to 4 kids, you love hanging out with your kids, and you decide to buy a 200-unit building that you want to manage yourself full time. I think you kind of get what I'm saying here. So for the purpose of this, we're starting with the idea of going for something like a smaller unit that we will want to manage ourselves for the first few years, and then possibly later, if we choose, we will hand it over to someone else to manage. So we will be looking for something in a C to C plus class neighborhood. Also, we will be looking for properties in good areas with, like, let's say, bad curb appeal. Or maybe the property has some difficult or bad tenants. Maybe they have dated stuff, like they haven't updated the kitchen, they haven't updated a lot of things, which can also keep prices low, which can kind of like drives landlords a little bit crazy or tired, and they never raise the rent, or they don't really want to go and do repairs or change or updates and never actually raise the rent to market value, which would then cause them to offer the property for less. Now, I want to also point out something. Just know that a duplex, which is a 2-unit, or a triplex, which is a 3-unit property, can attract homeowners who intend to live there, driving up the cost. This makes the 4-unit a great strategy. Now, the 4-unit can be a bit too much for the homeowner who needs to lessen their bills but don't want to actually be a full-blown landlord. But on the other side, it's too small for that landlord who's looking to grow big. In many areas, 4 units can go for as much as the duplexes, even though you stand to make much more. The reason for this is the person who's buying the house from themselves is still making an emotional decision, where we are making the decision more from a mathematical standpoint. However, we will still take a 3 or a 2 if the price is right. Now, regards to price, go to the bank and get a pre-qualified letter. They will ask you a lot of questions about your finances, which can cause you to adjust things up or down if needs be. This will help you know exactly what you can afford. We will be looking to get a loan on the property. We want the property to also have tenants who are living in it already. This will help a lot too, because if there's some issue with the property, chances are you can probably find out from the tenant when you're doing your walkthrough if you get to meet them. You can even ask them, is there anything wrong with the property? Anytime they will tell you the truth and tell you what's wrong with the property, but just know that sometimes they do lie because the landlord tells them, please don't say anything, I really need to sell the house. Some investors, they actually try to avoid where a property already has tenants. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to find more like a turnkey type of property, a property that's already functioning, moving along already, and we just want to plug those numbers to our numbers and then figure out if it will be a good investment for us. So we want the tenants to be in the property at that location. And one benefit to this, when you close, that month rent is actually given to you at closing. Okay, so cap rate wise, we want to have something between a 6 to 15%. Now, if you don't know what a cap rate is or you don't know how to calculate it, I recommend you go back to my top 5 terms you should know. That will help you with the cap rate. Okay, guys, now that we have a criteria, in the next video, we're going to go to the next step. I believe we're going to be looking at the property itself. Okay, so don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on notification. That way you can be the first one to get these videos, and comment below if you have any questions, or maybe you have a different way that you do it, or maybe you have a different idea that you want to share. Thank you very much.